What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Backyard. Today, it's kind of a two-part mod. We've got this Cobb Flex fuel sensor that we're going to install so we can run E85. Everything's already plugged in because I bought this used. Got it for about $400, which is about $200 off of retail, I believe. And then in here, we've got the supporting mods, which is, we got the AEM high pressure fuel pump, and the kit, the install kit from WRX. So you need this in order to be able to run this fuel pump. All right, before we get started, make sure to pop our hood, and you also want to make sure that on your access port you're monitoring fuel pressure, because you want to see that fuel pressure go down. This one right here is the fuse you want to take out, 15. Got our fuel pressure right there. Check engines on because we did the TGV deletes and I haven't uploaded the tune, but go ahead, turn on the car. And you'll see that go down and it should die shortly after. And it sounds like it stalls, but that's perfectly fine. Once you relieve the system of fuel pressure, you want to take off your seat. It's basically just these two clips here on each side. You pull them out from under the seat and then you can lift it up. Same thing right there. But you want to be on the passenger side and you want to remove this cover. And when you're working here, don't use any power tools or impacts because there's gas in here. And those power tools can cause sparks and you'll be in a lot more trouble. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, once you lift up, there's going to be this little clip here. Just want to disconnect that. Disconnect that. Move it to the side for now. And then we're going to take off all these little nuts right there. Alright, so next what you want to do, you're going to lift these two tabs up to loosen these hoses. I got a rag ready because it's going to spill some gas. And once you lift them up, you can just pull it out. Just be ready to clean up some gas. Ooh, that spilled the wrong direction. It's okay. Comes out. Ugh, smells like gasoline. And this second one didn't have that much. It's two out. So again, don't use power tools. Get your number 8 and just take all these screws out and you're going to remove that plate. And there should be a spare removed. Okay, we got the ring out, place it right here, got all our hardware. Just gonna keep it here. Next step, I've got prepared with the towels because there's gas under this, is to remove this tank here. All right, we got the fuel pump out. You just want to be careful when you take it out, kind of got to angle it because you don't want to break this float. That's very important. Now we're ready to start. I want to make note of how all the hoses are aligned. That's the tricky part about this, because otherwise it won't fit back in. Now, so you see this is spring loaded. Next you'll see that one of these rods has a little C-clip. That one right there. Just want to take that out. Some pliers or something, but don't lose it. All right, we got this out. It's you gotta kind of finagle this. Basically just move it left and right and it'll pop out, and then you're gonna have to force the spring up so it doesn't get stuck in there, so you don't want to break this. But next you're gonna remove, there's three clips right there, and right there. Basically just pop those out of place and this could come out. Okay, we got it out. You want to make sure to disconnect that wire there from the top of this. Kind of flip it upside down, keeping the orientation and everything. And next we're going to remove this clip here. There's 3 clips, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips. This one on here, on that side, and then 3 around the fuel pump here. See, go ahead and pull that out, and there's your fuel pump. Alright, so now that we got our fuel pump off, we're gonna have to cut, I'll show you, got this plastic bag so I don't get gas everywhere. You're gonna have to cut right here in the middle. So you can take this off now. The fuel pump's off. Basically, this section that I'm gripping, we don't need. So we're gonna cut right there. All right, so in here, there's a spacer and an O-ring. You wanna take out both of them, get rid of the O-ring, and then grab your new fuel pump. Your AEM fuel pump. This had a cover on it. You wanna take that off. Put the old spacer on there, all the way down, and pop 2 new O-rings off. It's gonna take a little slicing and dicing because it's tough. Set that aside. We got our spacer with our 2 O-rings. Set that aside for now. Now you want to go to this connector here, and remember that blue one we disconnected? This one. We'll go ahead and fully disconnect it and replace it with this one. And the gray goes up top, and the black will go to your fuel pump. So now we're gonna go back in here and place this in. In there, there's that little kind of divot, that nipple. That's where the O-rings are gonna go. And press that in all the way. Boom. It's nice and seated in there. Now that our fuel pump is in place, right there, there's this divot and nipple right there. Basically, you're gonna mate that with this little penis looking sock. And that piece you just cut off, you're gonna go put back over there. Boom. Make sure you connect the red wire into the fuel pump. It's already connected into there. And yeah, now we're ready to put everything back in. So you want to slide everything in back to where the clips were, making sure relatively all the tubing is the same. And then you'll want to line these up too. You want to put your spring on that one. So I got to go ahead and do that, and we'll come back in a bit. All right, we got the fuel pump in. Looks like it's all good. Got it right here. Just route your wires into little tabs. For example, there's a little tab right there. The new one. Oh, I tried putting it in that tab, but it keeps falling out. So I'll go ahead and do that. Don't forget your C-clip down here on the spring one. And yeah, see it all springs nicely. So we're good to go. Just gotta put it back in the car. All right, so we got everything back in, all the screws. Now we just gotta plug this back in, close it, and then we're ready for some E85. Fuck yeah. All right, yeah, we're officially done with doing the AEM high pressure fuel pump install. There's our stock fuel pump and little extra components. But now we're ready for the big boy. Ready to install this flex fuel kit. And then once we install that, we'll upload our tune and start the car. But first things first, I'm thirsty as fuck. Yo, but y'all ever seen a fridge with a mini fridge? Let's go. We're gonna sip on some Allagash White because it's a lot crisper and smoother, and it's hot outside, so let's go. You already know, if you ain't drinking the beer, are you really working on cars? Cheers. All right, first things first, we want to remove our battery. I've already disconnected mine, but I gotta remove this little holder and take it out. And we're still not installing the fuse yet until we're ready to turn it on. So let's do that. What we're gonna do, you wanna grab some rags because there might be some fuel. We've got our battery out. Terminals are just hanging. Little battery holder. I couldn't take that off, so I just left it. Doesn't matter, we just need the space to work in there. But you're gonna wanna remove this fuel line right here on the manifold, right next to our charge pipe. So beautiful, so pretty. I went with the black because I like the subtle look of it. My car's already red as fuck. I don't want more red. So the black just keeps it subtle, and this little small Grimspeed tab, very nice. So yeah, there's this clip here. So there's this. You're gonna want to pry that blue tab up, and you're gonna want to release this little clip with some pliers or something and remove it. I need my pliers. My pliers. This is my beer holder. Let's just hope we don't spill some. Ah, no fuel. We're good there. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other end of the fuel line, right here. So just same thing, unclip right next to a brake fluid reservoir. You want to remove these little clamps, and then you just pop that up and remove. Ow, that shit hurt. So I had a little bit of fuel. Now we got our fuel line out of the way. Ooh, still have some gas in there. Oops. Okay, move this out of the way. So mine is already assembled because I bought it used. But basically these lines, you want to push them in and clip them into here and make sure they're on tight. But basically your long line, there's a long line and a short line. Long line is going to go on the right if you're reading Cobb, left to right, and your short line is going to go on the left, again if you're reading Cobb, left to right. And then this connects there. I don't think you need it at this point yet, but it came installed. So, and before we do anything else, we want to remove this fuse box. So that bolt there, and this one right here. Not that one, that's a ground wire, which I don't know where that goes to, but not that one, right here. Unplug that connector just to make things easier. But this bracket, you're basically going to align that hole behind this plastic tab here on the fuse box. Now that we got it in, it's just in there loosely. I can still move it with my fingers. You want it loosely because now you got to realign the fuse box and put it back. So we got the sensor in. Be patient because realigning it takes some time and finagling it, but we got it in. It's all secured. Now we want to route our lines. Long one is going to go back here to make sure this clip is open. This one's going back to the one we took off by the brake fluid reservoir. I'm going to push that in all the way. Clip it. Now we got to do this one. Obviously we got to open it up so it's open. And that one's going to go in here, right below our intake manifold. You can just route that. Pop it in. Alright, we got everything routed. There's our fuel sensor. There's a long line going there. There's a short line going there. Now we got to mount our harness. But we've got one little problem here. So this comes with another bolt that's supposed to replace that one. I don't think that one's long enough for this. The person that bought it off that didn't include that. That was an oversight on my part. So I might need to make a trip to the hardware store. Otherwise, I don't think it really matters where you mount it as long as it's mounted. I think I know what else we're gonna do, so stay tuned. We made it work. So the bolt here is too short and that head is too fat. I tried doing it on here, but that one was way too short. It fit in there perfectly. So what I did, we're not using this bracket anymore. This is the bracket that held our old fuel line. All I did was zip tie it in place because all this is just a sensor. So all it needs is to be mounted somewhere. So zip ties did the job. It's not the prettiest, but it works. So now we route our cables. I already routed the brown one. That one goes right here. We got 2 more cables to route. This long one here goes down to your O2 sensor on the J pipe. So we're gonna have to route that down somehow. All right, so I went ahead and done it already, but you're gonna want to connect the short connectors to your TGV. If you have TGV deletes like I just installed, you'll want to tape off the other end. So just one connected there. So the next one after the TGV deletes, I've already fed it down. It's down here. You can kind of see it jumbling around. I had to lift the car up, jack the car up again. I totally spaced on this, but whatever. Next step, you see them hanging right there, is we're gonna connect them to the O2 sensor, and I believe it's this one right here. We are gonna disconnect this green connector and plug in these two. So disconnect, and it's basically gonna go in between the two green. And there you have it. So green to gray, connected to gray, connected to green, 2O sensor. And they all fit into just one connection, so you can't mix them up. So yeah, now we're just gonna tidy up all the wiring so it's not flopping around, and zip tie everything up and upload our bass tune, and I think we're good to go. Almost forgot, we gotta reinstall that fuse, or else we're gonna get no fuel pressure. So get your 15. Now we're ready to start it up, and then we can put our tune and shit. So I don't know if we did something wrong, but it turned on for a bit and then died. Let's try that again. Fuck. I think we might have a tiny bit of a problem. So something leaked. I think one of the connections got unclamped or something, so I gotta open up the fuel pump and check everything again. Hopefully no problems, because yeah, it turned on for like 30 seconds and then died. Well, good news, I think I found the problem. As soon as I opened this, as you can see that connection just like busted off of that nipple. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna reconnect it and see if that does anything. So the issue is, when you are installing these hoses, there's a little hump. Make sure you push it in until it clicks. So do that to both. I had them just at the hump and it fell out, so rookie mistake. So we're gonna plug this back on and hopefully that solves it. All right, we've got it all put back together. We're gonna start the car one more time. Moment of truth. So last time I did this, I was able to hear it leak just by pressing it on and priming it. Do it a couple times. Wait for our gauges. Let's turn it on. Checking for fuel leaks. This is good. That's good. We're running. I gotta fix the underglow down here. I gotta clean my intake, and I gotta do an oil change. So we're pretty much ready for a tune. I'm just gonna upload my base map and we'll be good to go. That was the trip, but we got it done. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay blessed. Peace.
Yeah. I'll be blowing up, start to get the best, I get the rest, and I'll be going up. Shawty wanna party, she be in the club, rolling up, purple in the cup, she be fucking up. Think she had enough, and now we in the web, going up. Ice on my chain, bitches on some